startups are going to be assessed on the team, on the market opportunity, on their product, on their execution plan, and on their profit formula. We're going to first get to know our judges. So from left to right, Mr. Ashraf Sabri, who's the CEO and founder of Fawri in Egypt. Mr. Anas Brahim, who's a consultant at Talent Advisory. Mr. Henry Asaili, or Henri Asaili, and he's the founder of Shopzilla and an investor in the Middle East. We have Mr. Leonid Saad, who's the CEO of Alcoist Pharmaceutical. We have Namik Zobi, who's the founder and managing partner of Silicon Badia. We have Mr. Raed Siraj, who is managing director at State Street. And Mr. Ziad Makhtar, who's a partner at iDevelopers in Egypt. Before starting and before having Alem Health presenting, we want to really thank the Darwaza family, whose contribution made this happen and is making this happen every year. Thank you. I want to invite to the stage Alem Health, so the first team.
Hi. Tonight we're going to start with this story. When I was working in Iraq and Afghanistan, one of my employees came to me one day and asked me for a week off of work. I come to find that his wife is sick and that he was going to fly to India to go find care. He goes to India, pays for travel, accommodations, and care. He gets an MRI, a quick consultation with a doctor, a prescription, and flies right back to Kabul. He spent $2,000 for that, which was about 6 times his gross income. So why couldn't he find health care in a country like Afghanistan? In the US, we're lucky enough to have 390 people for every physician. In Yemen, that number is 3,000. In Afghanistan, that number is 6,000. And there's no way to train doctors that quickly with quality to actually close that gap. Now, each of the developing countries that we're looking at are multi-billion-dollar healthcare markets. You see Afghanistan at 1.4, Yemen at 2.8, Iraq at $4.8 billion in expenditure. And they spend between 20 and 30% of that on diagnostic care. But they can't find good diagnostic care, so you have $100 million of medical tourism out of Yemen. It's a country with 45% of its people beneath the poverty line. You have nearly $300 million spent out of Afghanistan. And you have over $2 billion spent on medical tourism just out of the GCC.
So we looked at this and said, why isn't there a better system in place? So we at Alem Health provide diagnostic healthcare to patients in developing countries through a combination of partnerships, logistics, technology. Through one of their local hospitals, which are connected with a specifically engineered telemedicine platform to the limitations of the developing countries. So we do this by providing a network. On one side, we've got access to high-quality global providers with 24/7 service. And on the other side, we've got a network of local hospitals connected on an Uber-like grid to collect CT scans, X-rays, MRIs, pathology reports, and more. And we do this by bringing it at a price point that locals can afford. Our local hospitals do not require heavy IT investments. Our medical platform connects seamlessly with their existing infrastructure. And where this all gets really exciting is that we're already operational in Kabul with 4 hospitals. We just signed up our 5th 24-hour maternity health care clinic. So now young Afghan mothers have access to global high-quality healthcare providers around the clock. So through our findings, we've actually, in our consultations, have detected undetected strokes. We've got congenital brain defects, and much more. And we're really excited to be able to scale this up to Iraq and Yemen. Let me show you how this works. So a hospital in a network requests a radiology or pathology report. One of their staff members fills in an order ticket, requests for a pickup. We send one of our GPS-enabled messengers to go pick it up. And back at our Alem Health offices, we check the files and upload them with our custom protocols to our cloud-based routing application. Our board-certified doctors look through the patient history and get back to the hospitals in as little as 90 minutes.
Now, the way we make money off of this is that we get a 20 to 35% margin on every consultation that we do. Now, because of the economies of scale, we're actually able to drive down our pricing from our providers because we're getting big volume. And so we're able to provide it at still low cost, even with those margins. We need about 40 to 50 scans per office per day to break even, which is very feasible with even a small number of hospitals. And we get prepaid, which is even more attractive if you know the healthcare market. Our hospitals pay us up front. And with those economies of scale, we're cheaper than any alternative. We do MRIs for $35 compared to $2,000 that my employee paid just a few years ago. Now, today we offer radiology. Soon we're going to be offering consultations as well as pathology, all on the same IT platform, seamlessly to the patient and hospital. Now, how are we growing? We're deepening our relationship with our providers by offering additional services. We're deepening our relationships with our hospitals. We're also growing for our patients by providing them a patient health record that they're able to carry all their consultations with them everywhere they go. Now, as far as our team, slower than planned. Yeah, it's okay.
Nice work. There you go. Okay, excellent. So tell us about your team.
Yes. So my background is I worked in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I did healthcare deals before as an investment banker. Sajjad was at Apple and BlackBerry and also set up mobile health clinics in Bangladesh. So we're actually uniquely suited. We know how to do things in developing countries, and we have the domain knowledge to actually execute this.
Hi, thanks. What's the incentive for the physicians, and are the physicians local to the country, or could physicians from other countries pontificate on cases in other countries?
So physicians love this because they're able to load balance. So if you're a hospital in the US and you've got a few doctors that are idled, we're able to take that excess capacity from them. Now, physicians in a country like Iraq or Yemen are also happy because they make more money off treatment than diagnostics that someone is leaving the country to get. The minute a patient walks out of the hospital's not seeing them again. They're in India, they're in Pakistan, they're in wherever they're getting care. So hospitals, both on the recipient and the provider side, are already signing up with our service. We've signed up the largest hospital group in India. We've signed up 5 of the largest hospitals in Afghanistan, and that's just in the last 2 months.
Your local office, tell me how it's structured.
So our local office is, yes. So we hire one doctor, which effectively runs the telemedicine station. And what he does is when the scans are received, he checks them for quality. He actually runs our software that transmits it up. We also have a team of messengers that are on an Uber-like grid that are dispatched around town and collecting them from all the different hospitals. We then have a finance associate for billing, a logistics officer, so on and so forth. But it's a really lean team, and our office costs are very low. Each additional country costs us less than $5,000 a month in payroll and costs. So we're actually very lean as far as that end of it. Now, what we want to really spend our money on is developing a platform that is user-friendly for the doctors and user-friendly as far as its requirements. Whether it's on low data, whether it's on low power, we're building a platform that's usable in the worst of environments.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about, you get the diagnostics from a foreign doctor, let's
Yes.
say, and then you're asking the local doctor to treat the patient based on these diagnostics.
Yes.
Is there a legal issue? That's number one in terms of this. Two, what if the local doctor actually disagrees with the diagnostics from the foreign doctor?
Well,
Not just using
yeah, no, it's a great question. Thankfully, I'm a lawyer by training, so we sorted this out at the very beginning. Our consultations are only on an advisory basis, and we as a company are actually just a healthcare IT services firm, and our professional service agreements reflect that. The hospitals are signing with the other hospitals. We're just a middleman, and we're getting compensated for that middleman because the hospitals can't do it themselves. They're either too small, don't have the IT sophistication, or don't have the legitimacy to go out there and sign up some of the largest hospital groups in the world. Why would Apollo sign up to a 10-bed hospital to get 5 scans a day? But if we've got 10 hospitals like that, we've got a business.
In terms of affordability, I do understand that people who actually go for treatment outside the country, probably they are the wealthy people. So there are 2 issues in my mind. The first is trust. So if I'm wealthy enough to go and have a diagnostic outside, maybe I wouldn't trust the other part. Yeah. And the second is if I'm going to target the lower end of customer base or whatever, then how far it is affordable. I mean, what are the dynamics of the pricing and all the stuff and the trust?
Our pricing, because we're able to push down our providers so much, is as little as $6 for an X-ray and as little as $30 for a CT, right? The prices are quite low. But as far as trust, we're able to brand all of our stuff with our hospitals. We've signed branding agreements with them. So while we're not attracting the top guys as we're flying to Germany, for everyone else, they're quite attracted to this. Remember that my example, he was a cook. That guy was making $300 a month, and he still flies out for care. If you're sick, you go and pay whatever you have to get better. And we know this, and what we're trying to do is make sure people get value and removing the friction of competing with Air India, flying out there, paying for hotels. It makes no sense. The doctors are there. They're idle half the time. We need to use them.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.